finds the turbulent years of the 1960s and 1970s in America quite like the rise of cults. Now, here's a cult who believed that God was an alien. Now, if you can believe this, they also believed their leader was Jesus Christ. Now, if you watch Star Wars, you can tell that aliens mate with humans and whatnot, and aliens to make their own kind. Now, humans and aliens don't really mix, but I'm going to call a lot of bullshit on that to say that deluded belief that God is an alien, unless Applewhite came through the Stargate or something. And how cult members of this cult were also put through a master cleanse diet of lemonade, cayenne pepper, and maple syrup. So basically what they created was a sweet and sour fart. Now on March 39th, let me try this again. On March 19th, 1997, 39 members of Heaven's Gate donned dark outfits and matching Nike shoes. Remember that, Nike is going to come important later. They drank vodka, ate applesauce and pudding that contained barbiturates, and put plastic bags over their heads to suffocate themselves. And when police entered the home, they found a line of bodies covered with purple fabric. Now, is purple the only thing they could have? Oh well. It was one of the largest mass suicides in the history of the United States. Now, think of this. Did Nike sponsor the mass suicide? Or the suicide cult itself? It's amazing they didn't kill themselves farting in front of an open flame. Because the giant cleanse diet they were on. Now, while on the topic of alien suicide cults, on the aforementioned date, convinced that the Hale-Bopp comet would bring a UFO that they would board to bring themselves to a higher level of consciousness. All the members of Heaven's Gate inevitably killed themselves. And when the aliens probably arrived, they said, well, I guess we're late for this party, aren't we? Now, on the topic of Charles Manson, he liked to conduct his business with mandatory orgies, didn't he? Now, mandatory, it kind of takes all the fun out of sex, doesn't it? Now, Manson believed himself to be Jesus Christ, didn't he? Now, I like to think of it this way. Even Jesus Christ didn't have mandatory sex with strangers. It's hard to believe any cult leader is Jesus Christ when they hardly ever follow the golden rule. Remember this, it's the golden rule, not the silver rule or the bronze rule. It's the golden rule. And for Christ's sake, people, I don't think even Jesus got in trouble for murdering people. I mean, he did get crucified, but that's a whole nother story. Now, Jim Jones, the Kool-Aid guy, instructed all of his followers to drink Flavor Aid, not Kool-Aid, Flavor Aid, laced with cyanide. That's a nice topping. Over 900 dead bodies were discovered at the settlement. When authorities arrived, I can just hear someone saying in the background, "Who spiked the punch?" Now, After training with a Santeria sorcerer, Adolfo Costanzo moved to Mexico City, where he established himself with the local drug lords and crime syndicates. Now, if you're going to be a voodoo priest and you're going to ingratiate yourself with a drug cartel and drug lords, you better have more than a rabbit in your hat. You better have something up your sleeves. Now, Donald Trump. Now, there's an asshole worth talking about. You know that he claimed to be voting. What? Oh, sorry, I read that differently. You know that he claimed that voting by mail would ruin the country. I guess since his base can't read or write, they don't want to live near a post office. Furthermore, Donald Trump, the American jackass, wants to do his Republican rally at Gettysburg. Now, why would anyone want to put themselves on the same level as Abraham Lincoln? It's like an ant putting itself on the same level as a spider. I wondered why Trump didn't say he was going to have his rally at the Lincoln Memorial. This was because he would have seemed small in comparison to it. Everyone knows this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. It just seems so fun. China is trying to get Trump, the dickweed, to lose, and Russia is trying to get the douchebag Trump to win the election. The thing is, these two things will cancel each other out, and we'll be left with Kanye West. Do you think we can even survive that? Now, I saw this political commercial last night whose biggest theme was saying, you can't trust a politician. But if you're going to say that defending Trump, shouldn't it mean that you can't trust Trump? And also saying that you can't trust a politician, shouldn't that mean you can't trust any politician? These commercials are so confused. Why is Donald Trump wearing makeup? You'd think he'd be more into LGBTQ, but he probably thinks that's a sandwich he can order at Denny's. Now, what's Trump think of life like? You know, I got the answer when my mom said, there's nothing in there but a wind-up monkey playing cymbals. He stops, you gotta wind him back up again. And he starts again. And I said, all right, that's Trump. The minute he stops, you just wind him back up again. Like a toy. My nose itches for some reason. Now, I think the Washington Monument is secretly a monument to Trump because of his relationship with all those prostitutes early on in his career. Now, of course, after 3 wives and 4 kids, I think he's compensating for something. Viagra may help with that. Of course, he may just get taller. Thank you, and good night.